Now we're getting to the big theories. What really puts things together. The Maw, the setting of the entire game, and how it exactly works out. This is where people are constantly going back and forth about, and while I'm not going over every single one I know, they're still going to get a few sum-ups before getting on to my own. So, here we go. Theory 1. The Maw represents modern society. A theory pinned by Indie Pixel, his first video might I add, and a pretty good one. This idea goes down to how the Maw, and by extension the game itself, represents modern day society and big business. This is the main sum up. Madame Geisha is the leading class, the guests are higher class, and the janitor and cooks are the lower class. According to the theory, the upper classes enter the Maw, see themselves as above everyone else, and the lower classes do their best to keep the upper classes going until they die and replaced by another boat, and as such the cycle continues. The Geisha, the leading class, such as politician or boss, according to him, once you defeat the boss, the business starts to collapse and crumble, sort of like how a company without a leading mind wouldn't last for long. Theory 2. The Maw and Cannibalism. This one is coined up by a YouTube commenter, which gave me plenty of extra information. For the sake of identity, I'll just refer to the commenter as Joe. So, according to Joe, the official description of the guests are said to be cannibalistic, and that they are indeed aware that they do eat each other, which explains why they would quickly eat you straight away, and almost unprompted. In order to feed these things safely, you, the geisha, and the chefs all try to cover your faces, i.e. geisha and the chefs wearing the masks, and Six wearing that hoodie, though we see that barely works anyway. This may not explain too much backstory, but it does put a different look on the workers and the customers that come and go. Or come and only come, that is. Theory 3. The Lore of the Maw. This one I kinda coined in myself in my previous video, but many people added far more depth to it, so I'm going to go over a bit anyway, though I am not going to repeat. To sum up, Madame Geisha used demonic magic within the Maw, though I only put it to making the workers and spiking the meat. But after a bit, I'm beginning to agree that there is a bit more to it than I thought. For one thing, there is a number of names within the game's soundtrack that might give a sort of support. Some names include Lure of the Maw, the Death Waltz, and Hypnosis, the most obvious one. This may sound a little silly, but themes of such things are evident here one way or another. One example, again coined by Joe, says that there is a starvation spell being used. The main evidence is the constant return of the guests, and the starvation sequences. In particular, the fact that the lights always seem to flicker whenever you eat something, which to Joe means that the spell is going through the entire Maw during this. The spell affects the guests too, in making them come back and basically gorge themselves to death. Guess that keeps them from leaving. Theory 4. The Maw is a post-apocalypse sanctuary. This one is kind of on the fly, so bear with me. So, we see that this Maw is simply huge, mainly upon many levels and floors of all sorts of rooms, including bedrooms, restrooms, kitchens, prison cells, a library, dining rooms, and so on. Looking here, the Maw is nowhere near land, and the only way to get there is by boat. Also, when looking at the comic strips for this, the place seems like a sort of sanctuary for the guests to stay in, while it is considered a prison for you and your people. The issue shows a few pages outside the Maw in a big city, and when they do, they show a constant downpour going on. Rain, rain, and more rain. Not much land to come by, and the only main place of safety is this Maw, explaining why there's no one planning to leave. This even becomes a place to be born in, a la the nursery and the large infants in those cribs. Yeah, those kids seem pretty big infants to be pretty much your species. So, we've gone over the enemies, 6, and some other Easter eggs. But the Maw is also inhabited by some other creatures. The tiny little gnomes. These things plague the Maw, basically, and are found practically everywhere. They don't try to hurt you either, and in fact run away whenever you get close. Apart from a few examples, that is. These little creatures aren't given enough time to think on, and with the very limited info I got, I came up with 2 possible ideas on what these gnomes could actually be. Theory 1. The gnomes are lost souls. As we're all aware, you're not the first kid to be sent to this place, according to the amount of cages alongside with the nursery and playroom. And also according to the game, you're not the first to try to escape either, and we find small childlike statues during one part of the game where you have to avoid what I believe to be an all-seeing eye security system. Since they were unable to escape and die there, the gnomes are trying to help you get out. This explains why so many enemies practically ignore them altogether, with the exception of the janitor who is able to sense their presence unlike the others. Theory 2. The gnomes are Madame Geisha's magic. Playing into the demonic magic theory I've mentioned earlier, these little guys could be leftover results of the Geisha's magic. Seeing how she has so much magic by now, it's fairly easy to have some lasting effects on whatever else is around, which could have spawned these little guys too. They do seem to be all over the place after all, and with how huge the Maw is, it's not easy to just pop up from one place to another when you're so little. Now it's time to finish this little theory session with the very end of the game. How convenient. Now, I warned about spoilers, and this is the big heap, so fair warning to you on that. After you defeat the boss, Six ends up not only eating her, or a part of her anyway, but she also gains her powers. She then proceeds to just walk right on over to the exit, with all the guests there getting killed by you as they attempt to finish you off. Once all this is complete, you walk right up the stairs, and after the credits, we see this. Six is on top of the Maw, the chimney stack no longer working, and just as we go to the title screen, we hear the horn of a distant boat. This seems a bit open-ended. The main ideas I can get from this ending include Six being trapped forever, Six being rescued, Six awaiting the customers on the boat for our next meal, or Six becoming the boss. With such a disturbing round of events during this ending sequence, it's rather hard to tell what exactly is supposed to be the act, or what happened to Six overall. But I think it really comes down to the main question if she actually stays, or if she leaves. If this ending means she stays, then she would most likely end up either wiping out the Maw completely, or just become the new boss of the Maw. I mean, she does have all of Madame Geisha's power now, and clearly she knows how to use it. If this means the other option, however, then it's a matter of what she does on the boat. She's basically a cannibal herself now, so does she go on the boat to eat the customers, or just go on her way? Honestly, this ending is far too open-note to give an exact answer. And without any way to unlock a secret ending like other games do, we can't really know for sure. Whew. Well, I believe I've covered pretty much everything here. All sorts of theories about little nightmares that you guys all pretty much pointed out to me. Honestly, there are so many different questions and answers here that I can't really go over them all myself. If you all have your own ideas on what this could possibly be, one way or another, be sure to leave them below. I am rather interested to hear from you. Well, I'll see you all later. Neon out.